Ahead of
That's
me.
the way he is. He doesn't have a bunch.
7 years? 6 years.
Those settle down and now he's in this.
Galaxy. 8 plus.
And the council that used.
Larger size. I prefer handwriting. All right, we are. It's time. Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting of the Lincoln Park City Council to order for April 18th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. This will be immediately followed by invocation by Frank Dragonic of Harvard Church of the Nazarene. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray together. God, we first thank you for who you are. We thank you for the fact that your word tells us that you'll never leave us, that you'll never forsake us. We thank you for your word as it tells us that where two or more are gathered in your name, that you're there with us. So God, we thank you for your presence and even in this meeting tonight as you're here with us. We thank you for our city, that you've given us a place to live, a safe place to live, God. And we thank you for our council people. We thank you for our mayor as they make decisions tonight. So God, we just ask that you open our eyes, that you open our ears, that you open our hearts to your leading, that your direction. Help us to hear other people. Help us to hear you. And then through all of it, help us to honor you with the decisions that we make tonight. We love you and praise you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. We appreciate that. We could have roll call, please.
Certainly. Councilpersons Dupre? Here. Higgins?
Here.
Kelsey?
Here.
Ross? Here. Salcido?
Present.
Tobin?
Here.
And Mayor Carnes.
Here. Okay, again, good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful winter day that we are enjoying. But of all the days to have a free ice cream day or free Kona Ice Day, this was the day that was set aside for them. I think that they had several people that come, and we appreciate that. I know that they are going to be at the Lincoln Park High School tomorrow at 4 p.m. as the girls softball team is doing a benefit game there to benefit the autistic program at the high school. So if you're out and about and you're able to stop there, you missed the Kona Ice today, they'll be there tomorrow to take care of business. To thank the Exchange Club of Lincoln Park, they did the Easter egg hunt again this year. It was back to the normal way of doing it. We didn't have the large crowd that we have had in the past, but it was an adventurous one. Went through, we had the Easter Bunny there and the Timeout Teddy. The ones that did show up had a great time, and it was fun doing it. So, but that is done by the Lincoln Park Exchange Club. At the Public Safety Commission meeting this afternoon, had a couple of nice awards. The chief made presentation on 2 officers for life-saving awards. I think we'll save that for next month, and we'll go over everything when they're there to receive the award, and maybe if we can talk the chief into having the officers attend, but we'll see what happens with that. There's another award that was given out, and it was a civilian citation. And when Sergeant John Stearns died, it's very difficult on the family, but it's also difficult on the police family, because when you do a police funeral, you want to do it the right way, because you want it to, obviously, you want it to be to where the family has, no problems with it. You don't want the department to come off as poorly trained and because you would not want to cause a slight at all to anything that takes place there. So it's very important to get it right. And there's one man in the state that actually has made it his job to get it right. He has been training honor guards probably going back over 20 years. And he is the go-to person in the state when something like this happens. And in this case, Chief Waters reached out to him and asked him what we needed to do, and he asked, well, what has been done before, and he made sure that everything came off without a hitch. It was a very beautiful and stirring ceremony at the church for visitation and at the funeral service afterwards. But former Wyandotte officer Dan Axel, is his nickname, Foley, made sure that the officers were well prepared for that. And to that end, the chief put him forward for a civilian citation, and he and his wife were at the event today, and I think that he was very excited about getting the plaque that they presented to them. But just wanted to extend my thanks to him also for the great job that he did. He gets no money or whatever out of this. He just does it because he feels that when you put an officer to rest, it should be done the right way. And so our thanks to him. And with that, we will go to the consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approved minutes, regular meeting held April 4, 2022. 2, solicit bids, DPS front door repair. 3, attend training police department, police academy. 4, approve lot split and combination 1605 Empire. 5, reappointments, boards and commissions.
So moved.
Support.
Your Honor, I have some questions on number 2 and number 5. Could we please move them down to the agenda?
All right. Okay. And clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Tobin,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right. Just getting the paperwork set. Move into the action items. Number 3, a change of council dates has been removed as it goes against the ruling or what is reported in the charter, that the dates are what they are. So any change of the official council day would have to result in a charter change. Anyway, there's other things that look to do to accommodate what the issue that the date was going to be changed for. But first item is, in background, we have a letter from John Myers, our building official. The owner of TJ Party Store was granted approval to expand the grocery store with an restaurant addition in 2019. Project was completed and C of O was issued on 9/17/2021. The building parcel to the south of the building, address 1212 4th Street, The request is to purchase this property for agreed $1,000 for the use of additional parking for the expanded business. City engineer has already approved the water basin runoff system plan for the additional parking. So resolve that parcel number 45-003-05-0036-000, the vacant city-owned lot adjacent to 1208 Fort Street, be sold to Gabriel Garcia Quiroz, 14613 Allen Road, Southgate, Michigan, for the sum of $1,000. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are hereby authorized to execute the necessary documents to accomplish said transfer of ownership.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Yes, is this the parcel between BC Pizza and the La Bamba store now restaurant?
Right.
It is, okay, so I noticed that this parking lot's been erected at least a month now, 30 days. So when was this sold? And why is it now just getting its certificate of occupancy now? I mean, I'm confused why this
hasn't
didn't
been
take
sold
place.
yet.
So the cement was done before.
Right.
So who paid for the cement work?
They did. But
That
as a
was city
condition.
property.
Yep. And they were, we talked about this property back in, my goodness, probably.
September?
No, I think we talked about this at least a year ago. And the project was this. We had two ways to go about it, either give them permission to do the construction and then sell them the property at the end, or enter into a development agreement, sell them the property with a reverter clause if they didn't complete it. This was the way that it worked out, that they did the project, and now that it's done, we'll transfer the ownership.
All right, so last question, I noticed the parking lot, there's an entrance in, but there's no exit. Is that how it was devised, or?
I do believe there's an exit through the alley.
True, but not through
Right.
Fort Street, so
Right.
there's only like one way in.
Absolutely.
There's no
One way
lines
in
or
and then
stripes
the
or
out.
nothing?
This was an MDOT requirement.
All right, so my biggest concern was, in 2021, when the lot was sold, why did it take so long to, now we're approving it now?
Well, the lot wasn't sold in '21. It won't be sold until you've approved the sale.
So my question is, it was a city lot, it was cemented, and then they bought it.
Yeah, they will buy.
I'm
Yeah,
missing something here.
they were working with us. This wasn't like they did it and we caught them doing it. They were working with
All right,
us.
and is it still called TJ's Market now, or?
No,
is it called
it's La
or
Bamba
something?
now.
All right, I was a little confused, I've been over there several times, I was just wondering how this transpired, but thank you very much. No further questions.
Further discussion?
Yeah, through the chair, if I might pick up on where Council Pro Tem Carlos was talking about, wouldn't it make sense, though, that it's almost like the cart after the horse. I mean, as a city, wouldn't it make sense to sell them the property upon completion? And because now, if we turn this down, which I don't think we will, but if we turn this down, what's the option for them? I mean, I'm just looking at procedure. Ed's over there looking. He's probably going to answer a question, maybe, but.
No,
I had to one hand on that one, huh?
because you were involved in some of this, so.
Councilman, would
Yeah.
you rephrase it, specifically your concern, what would happen if the city turned it down today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're waiting for the paving rates.
No, it's not.
I guess city benefits, but the city then has a lot that is fallow and you can't do anything with it, so it's a balancing of equities, and when these circumstances happen, you just want to do the right thing, I guess, at the end of the story. It's council's decision ultimately to accept or reject, and Councilman, you raise a good point, but sometimes you can't avoid things like that. People are industrious, they take things on their own sometimes, and let's just hope for a good consequence.
I just want to be consistent, because and the reason I say that is I'm kind of a person of rule of law, not a lawyer, but as to make sure that we don't have these situations because, well, you did it for them, why can't you do it for us? And you answered my question, Ed, thank you.
Well, that's...
I appreciate it. I'll let you off the hook there, thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Well, what you're saying is that they put the parking lot in before they had ownership of the property?
Right.
Okay, did they have a permit to put this parking lot in, or what were the circumstances surrounding it?
Yeah, they've received a permit, they had to go through MDOT, they've had to jump through several different hoops.
How can they get a permit for property that they don't own?
Excuse me.
I think they did it on behalf of us. And I saw John earlier, but he's not here now, because he was...
John would have the answer to that.
John Myers was kind of leading this project.
I'm going to bail water on this one. Once they did, it became apparent that nobody else would benefit from a paved parcel than these folks, and the city had no other use for the parcel. It's going to be taxed at a greater rate since they have paved it, and as long as they've paid the permit fees, I think this is the one time where council says there was a mistake, and we're going to just correct it. The equities here balance in favor of the landowner having the property now, the adjacent landowner.
If it's a mistake, I mean, I'm fine, we own up that it's a mistake and we move on. I just want to know that that's what happened.
Well, I would say that sometimes when all hands are on deck, things slip past us, and that's what happened here. I think the chief's going to look for him, but Mayor, it's at a point now where nothing you do is going to correct the fact that they got the permit and did it and how they did it, and you can do a forensic evaluation as to how it happened, and we can benefit council with that and assure that it wouldn't happen again, but it happened. Is this Mr. Meyer? The next guy is, right?
Here he comes.
Hello, John, there's been a discussion on the lot next to the former TJ Party Store.
Yes, 1208.
And that the lot was put in before they have ownership of the lot.
That is correct.
Okay, can you walk us through how that happened?
Yes, when we knew that the permission was granted, the request from the owner was that they needed verification that they would do something with the lot besides leave it grass. And since I talked with the city manager, we discussed what we would need. They're ready to go. They'd like to finish it out. And I made the decision that if they could give drawings and Hennessy could approve them, then they could look at the drain tiles. Once they got the drain tiles from the back of the parking lot to the street, which is on the other side, we granted them the right to build it. I did talk with both parties, the pizza shop as well, and they could not come to a resolution. The idea was they would write out a plan. They could not do so. They would not do so. And so I just said, we know we can't put a driveway in on the front side on 4th Street, and so it would only be able to be used by a party that could use that side of this parking lot and would have no driveway from 4th Street to it.
I recall that now, because you talked to it that they wanted to show that they were going to invest in it and that it was...
Correct, and so this was the investment, this was the category. We tried for about 2.5, 3 months with the two companies to get a mutual understanding, because they were talking about, do we move the fire hydrant, do we move the driveway, can we use it? And I said, no, since that's not the case, and there isn't a mutual agreement, then you should consider planning to use it independent by yourself.
So it's not an error, this is a plan?
No, it was planned from our decision to grant them the cell. We could not use it, and then they could not come up with a contract between the two. So it was granted, from my point, that they might as well go ahead and get engineering work, preparatory work done. And when they did, we found out one day that they had already started the digging on the drain tiles. And then we called Hennessy, and they went involved and got confirmed that it was done correctly. Not the first time, but they corrected it.
Okay, thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
You're welcome.
Further discussion?
Mayor, I wanted to add one other thing, just parenthetically, historically, the council underwent a similar scenario at Magina Bookstore with the property between their bookstore and the Busen Appliance some years ago, where Mr. Magina maintained the property for years and years and years, and then the council finally conveyed title after he took it upon himself to lay sod and to put a fence up, and then they conveyed title because no one would take action. So there is a time when action initiated, and you can either say no and you have a paved lot on a useless piece of property, or you say yes and you move on and trust it doesn't happen again.
Through the chair, while Ed's still standing there, through the mayor, if I could. Technically, the only person that can sell that piece of property is the council, right, through resolution. Am I
That's
correct?
correct. You're
so
right,
there can't,
Councilman.
no matter who acts independently, the council has the final say. Am I correct?
You're correct, Councilman.
Thank
The
you.
city would have had a privately paved parking lot that belonged
Right.
to the city.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
It's a little off subject, but it's right on the money, I believe. The owners took a store that was very run down, very bad shape. They have made it very beautiful, very nice. The inside is very nice. They've done a remarkable job of taking an old market and turning it into something nice and that we could be proud of. And I just want that to be said here tonight, that Alabama is a very nice place, good food, and I think it needs to be said.
Both he and BC's Pizza have done a nice job in beautifying that area.
Absolutely.
Is there further discussion?
Yeah, through the chair. I just want to make
He's
sure.
first.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So, I just want to understand this. So, when we talked about this and we said that, if they did something, we would sell it to them, is there documentation that follows that it was okayed by the city for them to break down ground, to do the tiles, to do the parking lot? Is there something written that says, you go ahead and do this and we'll sell it to you, or is this just a discussion thing? I just kind of, to me, it's weird that you can take a city property and do something with it without ownership. So I guess I'm looking for, is there something that states that they had the permission to do this?
So you guys haven't fully authorized that's what we're doing tonight, but based on the direction we received in closed session, that's where John started to have the conversations with the adjoining property owner to start moving it.
Documentation.
There would be the documentation within the building department on permits and all of that, but there was no decision made in the closed session because you can't make a decision in closed, but based on the direction received.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair.
Okay, so, Councilman was next, Councilman Kelsey.
Thank you, Your Honor. The only point I want to make is that the council has the authority. That's the only position I want to make. I'm not arguing it's not a nice thing, I'm not arguing about the store, but I am arguing we are the authority. And if nobody respects the authority, then why are we sitting here? That's all I'm saying. I want to make that quite clear. I mean, I'm not arguing about the fact of what the gentleman did and all that, but it should have come to the council. I mean, we meet every first and third Monday. It's not a hard issue, and if we had the information, like you said, we talked about it, we could have conveyed it to them. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't like the fact that people go behind or go in front of the council, and I'm sorry, I have a problem with that. And I just want to make that quite clear to everybody that the council, in my understanding, has that authority, period, nobody else. Thank you. I'm all done. Thank you, Your Honor.
Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. I hope I'm not mistaken when I say that they made no secret in a planning commission meeting that they wanted that property.
That is correct.
I think that came to planning commission a couple times, actually. So it was no secret that they wanted it. That's all.
The failure in the paper, Your Honor, if I can speak again?
Go ahead.
The failure would have come to the fact that the planning commission gave them approval. They've asked for it. We told them they couldn't do it until they got permission to be purchased. In a closed study session, it was my understanding that it was granted to be considered and a price tag was given as a potential, and then it would have to come to the city. Whatever took place between that length of time and their process of getting the doors open, they got their CVO without doing the parking lot and was looking before they got too caught into the season, and it would be clearly my indiscretion that I made a decision to grant them the right as an act of the intent of the council without final approval to go ahead, and it'd be better for them to see what they were doing with the Hennessy Engineering than to leave it into a mudslide. So I granted them the right. That was my choice and my mistake to
And it improves the downtown.
override the council.
So, we have further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Ross? Yes. Dupre?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin? And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right, next item that we have, thanks, John, is from our DPS Director, John Kazoo. Water main material cost increase 2022 road construction and water main replacement program. In background, JV Cement Contracting of Brownstown, Michigan extended their contracting unit rates from the 2019 contract for the 2022 construction season. Due to the cost increase of water main materials, JV Cement is requesting an increase in their water main material costs only. There is still a cost savings for approving the increase in materials-only costs of $178,000 for JV Cement Contracting rather than bidding out the project. So be it resolved that the mayor and city council approved an 18% per unit item increase to the JV Cement Contracting Company contract for water main materials only.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Once again, we get this information, late Thursdays, we read it over the weekend. Does this set a precedent for all our contracts now because we have a pandemic, we have a supply chain issue? We're just going to start unilaterally raising or disputing our costs now? We're just going to forget about the bids and just move forward and say, with all the price of gas, we want to increase our rate. So does this, I don't want this to be precedent setting. I understand there's a supply chain issue. We have a contract, right? Ford Motor Company has been down in 2020, 18 weeks. In 2021, they were down 16 weeks. The UAW membership didn't go to the company and say, we're losing out on money, we want to raise. We have to wait till next contract, we'll discuss that. So my concern is, I get it. I get the situation. And we have a war in Ukraine right now. We have the pandemic still is not here. But we have a contract. So I just want to open this up for discussion. I don't want this to be precedent setting that we're just going to allow our bids to be refuted and let's just eliminate this and do that. Okay, so that's my question. I'm all for discussion and that's all I have to say.
John, do you want to comment on that? And maybe James? Whoever was working with JV Cement?
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask this question, so that's why I bring it up to you guys. So I'm all for your discussion.
Well, we also have the owner of the company here also.
Think you want to speak, you want me to?
Yeah, you want to talk to you, and I can do it.
Either way, I don't think this is a precedent-setting decision. I think the owner of the construction company offered his 2019 prices for the 2022 work. I know the water main parts that the city buys here for hydrants, gate valves, the various parts. In January, we received a letter saying, oh, by the way, because of these various product, manufacturing, labor rates, trucking rates, we are going to raise your prices on water product. And that was 8% in January. Then in March, we got another one from the same companies, plural, that, oh, by the way, we're now going to raise your rates an additional 18%. Well, that's something that the contractor, JV Cement, could not have predicted, nor could I have predicted when I buy product to repair water mains. I think what's happening here, in my opinion, is he's brought it to our attention. And the city does have one or two choices as mayor and council. Number one, he's telling us he cannot absorb those water part increases. The cost is just astronomical. If it was maybe 3, 4, 5%, maybe an inflationary rate, might be a different story. But this is a large rate. So either we do it and we grant that and we move on forward with the project, or we put it out for bid. And I think if we put out for bid, I don't think we would get this work done this year. The other part, if we put out for bid, the city would see a rate increase on water product. You would see a rate increase on labor, fuel, backfill material, plus the concrete portion of this product. Cement, or let's call it concrete increase, labor rate increase, fuel increase, equipment increase. He's not asking for that. He's simply saying that this 8% that the city saw in January plus the 18%, and he's buying the same product we are buying. Can you help me? Jim, let me let you add to it.
Yeah, and we've been looking at prices and everything for all materials, sewer, water, all that. They're all going up, and we're seeing substantial increases in our bids right now. One of the things I'd like to point out too, that we looked at like the lead service leads that need to be replaced. So for the long ones, our cost on this project's going to be about $6,800. For the short ones, about $6,100. You may recall, we put them out for bids probably over a year ago. They came in at $10,800. So we have 80 of them on this project alone. We'll have a cost savings just had we awarded the bids to the other contractor of $315,000. So I'm like you, councilperson, I don't take this lightly. I kind of look at it and say, do I feel this would be in the best interest of the city? And in this particular case, I do. And that's the only reason I made my recommendation. So, just so you know that, it's not something we all took lightly, for sure.
That's all I wanted to hear, thank you.
Yep.
Would the owner of JV Cement like to? I know, but would you like to add anything to that? You need to, please come up to the microphone, please, so the folks at home can hear you.
Hi, Vince Vitale, GV Cement Contracting. We're the one of the paving contractors in town. John and Jim did a very nice job explaining. Like they said, I don't take this lightly. When I do work, I'm very serious about it. But there's just been so many changes that we felt that there was a need to come to ask for this increase. And again, it's just for the water main materials, not anything, not the fuel or the labor, or of course so many things. But that's it. So I'd just like to thank you guys.
Thanks, sir. We have further discussion from council?
Yeah, one question, Your Honor. The original question was, is this setting up a precedent? And I guess that question would be for Ed. Are we setting ourselves up in a danger of setting up a precedent?
Well, I think that anybody out there, anybody that does it, has the ability to come back and to ask. I mean, there's nothing that says that, and we have to treat each one on an individual basis if that is the case. I mean, this would be a rarity on my.
That was me doing Danny O'Day talking to the mayor. That would have been my opinion also, so.
Well,
Exactly. Each contract stands on its own terms. You are the final arbiter and the final approver of all agreements, so you can choose to do it again or you can't, but you look at exigent circumstances, you make a decision on a case-by-case, contract-by-contract basis. So what the mayor said is correct.
Thank you.
Okay, further from council?
Through the chair, if I may, to the city manager, where's this extra money going to come from? Obviously, it's something we didn't count on, so we got to take it from somewhere.
Right, it's going to have to come out of the different project budgets. We're going to have to move money around in them.
So we're going to have to, for lack of a better term, short some of the projects to cover, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's just
It's
the way it is,
when
right?
costs go up, the amount of
Right.
things you can do have to decrease.
Okay. And I got one question for Jim, if you don't mind. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, Councilman.
Jim, on these other projects that we're bidding out, are we going to see the same kind of, I mean, obviously, prices are going up before they bid it, and obvious fuel, you mentioned everything. Are we looking at price increases coming on certain things from other contractors that have mentioned to you in the business, because, you know, you deal with it more than we do, to say, hey, fuel is at $4, it was at $3.10 when I bid this job, or labor is up. Have you got any indication, just I don't expect you to answer affirmatively, but any idea that, this could occur?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it on other projects. We've had several projects, especially like the lead service lane. We had bid openings in other communities, and we've rejected bids for them. I can tell you that I've spoke with Hutch Paving. That was the only other contract that we did extend, and they are not asking for any additional money, so I did want to check with that, to make sure. As Councilman Higgins brought up, that could be a concern. The other two projects we'll be putting out for bid will be the concrete sectioning program and the utility repairs. And based on what they come in at as far as bids, like you said, we try to do as many projects as we can. We did have even some left over from last year that we're carrying over to this year. And when we did the 10-year program, we did talk about that it was kind of going to be a moving target because we don't know how prices are going to fluctuate, and some years it might be better and we might be able to get more done, and other years the price might go up and we might not be able to get as much done as we were hoping to. So, yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you
I'm all
very
set.
much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
One thing further, Jim, I mean, you're talking the Hutch Paving, the asphalting, they don't have to do any of the plumbing work or the sewer lines or any of those things, right?
No, the majority of their work will just be like the concrete curb and gutter type work and the asphalt paving, so.
And the sectioning that you're talking about, that doesn't apply with, sewer lines and stuff, we're not doing.
That's correct. Well, some of the sectioning can involve some sewer replacement if there's sewer collapses and stuff, but small amounts. There won't be a great deal of it. But we are seeing even cost increase in concrete right now as well, too. It doesn't seem to be as hit as hard as the sewers and the water main. I can tell you, for example, plastic pipe. I would have never thought in my lifetime plastic pipe would be more expensive than concrete. And we put out a bid last year and used both materials, and the concrete actually came in cheaper because the material supplies they're just not available, and in the cost to produce them now with the resins and stuff. So, yeah, we're going to see it on different things, and just trying to, get as much done as we can with what we have, for sure.
Thank you, sir. We
Thank
have a citizen that, okay, that's good. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes, thanks for the explanation, gentlemen, thank you.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Kearns.
Yes. Okay, just making sure I'm in the right spot here. Yep. Next item has a cover letter from John Kazoo, our DPS director also. In background, GV Cement will be removing and replacing 0.52 miles of existing roadway on Austin Avenue, Monty to Southfield during the 2022 road reconstruction and water main project. The paving machine requires 24 inches behind the curb for clearance of the machine. The boulevard is only 47 inches, 3 feet 11 inches. The existing 51 trees must be removed to create enough clearance. So added cost to remove 51 trees, stumps, and replacement of 51 2 1/2 inch diameter trees that would cost approximately $65,000. Be resolved that the mayor and city council approve the removal and replacement of 51 city trees on Austin Avenue to accommodate for the paving equipment used in the 2022 road reconstruction and water main replacement program, and for the city of Lincoln Park to use our existing contracted tree company for this work.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Question through the chair to John Kazoo.
Yes, sir.
John, are we going to be able to do this Austin project with the existing backload we still have for our tree limb walkers on the list for people? I mean, how's that going to work out?
I've talked to our tree company, Lim Walker, and they said that, yes, they can get this work done along with their present contract. I told them that on behalf of doing the road removal replacement, that the city will have to have this work done immediately so that we can start the water installation process, and thereafter following the removal and the replacement of the concrete roadway.
Okay, I just don't want it to interrupt the people that are waiting. I mean, obviously, this is something to come up we got to do, but that's what I was getting at, and you explained that. I just want them to understand that, hey, this is great, but we also have a lot of issues still on the tree list. So, but you answered my question. If they can do both, I don't have a problem with that.
Any other questions?
Yes. Is
sir.
the homeowners aware that this is coming?
No, they are not. We will have to set up a meeting with them. Hennessy, on behalf of the city, will be sending out a letter, and we're even, if necessary, set up a meeting with the homeowners, because this is going to be a surprise to them. But no, we have not proceeded that far forward yet, because we didn't know what the wishes of or authorization of mayor and council were going to be. After this either moves forward or fails, we'll have to set up those meetings and send out those notices.
So my understanding, though, that this project can't move forward without these trees being removed. Is that?
That is correct.
Okay. Further discussion?
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Jim, have we ever had something like this happen before?
I have seen it in another community that I've worked in, but I've never done it here. The problem here is this particular roadway, the boulevard, which is back a curb to front of the sidewalk, is very, 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 very narrow. It's only 3 foot 11 feet, 3 foot 11 inches wide. And a lot of those trees are impacting the pavement and the sidewalk. It will look funny for a little while because all the trees are going to be removed, but in the fall, I think the city, either in the fall or in the springtime, the city come in and replace the trees with maybe a 2.5-inch diameter tree.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to you. Yeah, this did happen in Lincoln Park on Riverbank between Ford Street and Ferris. They did, it was, yeah, that was when Mr. Bartok was the Department of Public Works Director. He wanted, and it wasn't because of the paving machine. I think the trees were overgrowing, they were affecting the sidewalks and things like that, and that's why he wanted them removed, and then they did go back and plant trees. The other thing we have on this particular site is, as I mentioned, we have 80 lead service leads. Sooner or later, those are going to have to be replaced, and chances are there would be a conflict with the trees at that point. So we might be running into this on other projects where the lead service leads need to be replaced. So just to let you know. And like John said, it's less than a 4-foot distance between the sidewalk and the curb, and by the time the tree starts growing, it really affects both the road and the sidewalk. I think we just need to look at planting a tree that's either slow growing or won't take up as much of the right of way. Yep.
When you're proposing that this work will start?
If the council approves that, then what we'll do is we'll put out a letter to the residents and asking, we could set up a meeting with them right on site and explain to them what's going on and the reason that they have to come out.
So the residents will be notified before any of the trees are... Okay.
Definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
When they redo this, will they be extending this so you have more space between the road and the sidewalk, so we don't have to come back and tear more trees down at some point?
The problem with that is if we lessen that, then we would make the road narrower. So then that affects parking and traffic flow. So some of the streets just don't have the right-of-ways that the other ones do, unfortunately.
None of the trees I'm assuming that they're old, so they're very large.
Yeah.
So we can't move them, try to replant them or anything.
Yeah, I'm sure if there's a way to do that, that we would look at that as well, too, but, yeah,
The trees are just going to be cut up and sawed up and,
yeah.
yeah, wow, that's,
That's tough. I fully sympathize with you for sure on that.
that's all good, yeah.
Thank you.
Further discussion? We have citizen. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Richard Kudrak. One of the words that was just uttered caught my attention, which was overgrown. Lincoln Park is one of those cities that the city comes in, plants trees between the sidewalk and the curb in the city easement. The homeowner has no right to say, don't plant that tree in front of my house. The tree grows for 20, 30 years, raises up the sidewalk, and then the city comes in and says, oh, you got a flag that's raised as a trip hazard. You had this discussion several years ago where sidewalks were damaged because of the city-planted tree, and there was a cost sharing for replacing that flag of cement. Is that still in effect, and what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that program still is in place, and the cost share, it's a 50-50 split.
Okay. Is it correct that this resident does not have a right to refuse to have that tree planted in front of their house?
It's never come up before. Most people want. It's the city's easement. The city makes the decision as how they want to populate the community with plants or flowers or trees. And part of the easement agreement with the subdivision is that the adjacent homeowner is responsible for any repairs, modifications of the sidewalk, because the sidewalk's their responsibility. And I don't think it's ever been brought forward before. People beg for trees.
Okay, thank you.
Considering it's Earth Day in a couple of days, that's the appropriate answer.
Through the chair, Your Honor,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
briefly, I can answer this. On Riverbank between Ferris and Ford Street, although I believe it's a 5 foot from the sidewalk to the curb, those trees are flourishing very nice and are not that thick. I don't see no issue in the near future, so that was a good job on that behalf. So hopefully that'll ring true on this short easement that you have coming up.
Okay, further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. With our next item here, it has, it's going to ask for approval of the Downriver Community Conference resolution that was submitted. In order to do that, the resolution, I'll read the resolution that the DCC presented and then go to our resolution. Whereas the Downriver Community Conference, a consortium of 20 Downriver communities in Wayne County whose total population exceeds 500,000, has joined in an effort to improve local government and enhance the quality of life for area residents through municipal cooperation. Whereas Wayne County receives water service from Great Lakes Water Authority, and all 20 DCC member communities are paying members of the GLWA. Whereas the state of Michigan has a direct role in GLWA providing water services to the city of Highland Park, and whereas the state of Michigan requested the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department, DWSD, provide emergency water services to the city of Highland Park because the state of Michigan determined Highland Park's water treatment plant was creating public health risk to residents. Whereas on November 12, 2012, the state of Michigan stated The repairs to the water treatment plant were to be completed within 3 to 4 days, but neither the state of Michigan nor the city of Highland Park repaired the water treatment plant, and it remains shuttered to this day. And whereas since 2012, the city of Highland Park has accumulated $54,233,700 in debt to JLWA for both water and sewer services. Should their payment pattern continue, this debt will rise to $60,977,600 by the end of fiscal year 2023. And whereas the city of Highland Park's debt has now been allotted to the 87 other GLWA member communities, including the 20 DCC communities, and whereas of the $54,233,700 debt Highland Park has accumulated since 2012, $19,882,700, 36%, has been allocated to the paying members in Wayne County. And whereas the $60,977,600 debt that will be accumulated by the end of 2023, a total of $22,293,900 will be allotted to the other communities in Wayne County. Whereas the DCC board is advancing our members' best interest by advocating the removal of the burden and liability of another community's debts and obligation from our community members. And whereas the DCC board particularly encourages the state to take the appropriate action to resolve this issue and leave our communities whole. Whereas the DCC Executive Financial Committee reviewed and approved this resolution on 3/24/22 to be sent to the full board. Now therefore be it resolved as follows: the DCC Board of Directors hereby requests the State of Michigan and Great Lake Water Authority to not require the 87 paying member communities to pay for the City of Highland Park's debt to GLWA. 2, the Downriver Community Conference's communities will not pay any more towards Highland Park's debt for fiscal year 2022 and will not pay towards the debt in fiscal year 2023 or beyond. The Downriver Community Conference Board of Directors hereby requests the State of Michigan become directly involved in resolving this dispute. 4, the DCC Board of Directors hereby requests the State of Michigan reimburse our communities for the almost $14 million that has already been paid towards this debt since 2017. The DCC Board of Directors hereby implores the State of Michigan to develop a long-term infrastructure solution to address the water and sewer issues in Highland Park. The DCC Board of Directors calls on the State of Michigan and the legislature to create a system in which this situation of non-payment and communities being charged the non-payment cannot happen in the future. The DCC Board of Directors hereby request that our state legislatures and our Wayne County commissioners call on the State of Michigan to not require impacted member partner communities to pay for the City of Highland Park's debt to the GLWA, and the State of Michigan reimburse the debt already paid. Okay, and then it is, whereas the City of Lincoln Park is a member of the Downriver Community Conference, DCC, and the DCC has proposed a resolution to request the State of Michigan to take appropriate action to resolve the City of Highland Park's debt issue to the Great Lakes Water Authority and leave our communities whole. Be resolved, the Mayor and Council of the City of Lincoln Park strongly supports the DCC resolution.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, discussion?
Through the
Question for, I'm sorry.
Well, I heard you first, go ahead.
Yep.
Okay. I'm a little taken back by a couple of, on page 2 of the DCC's resolution, where it states that they're requesting the State of Michigan to reimburse communities for monies already collected. Have we paid into Highland Park's debt?
Yes.
Yeah, every city that's part of GLWA has.
How did we not know this?
Pay the bills. I've been to other council meetings, just for the benefit of mayor and council, and all the communities paid the bills as submitted. And at one point, doing this fine tuning, they decided that they weren't going to pay any further. And other communities are in the same boat, in the same position as the city of Lincoln Park.
So is there a way to ask to request an itemized bill so that we know this in the future?
I think Mr. Curzan will tell you that whatever statements were presented reflect how much the city paid. And I understand it was a small amount that added up.
Yeah.
It's $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Soon you're talking about real money, so. And it just added up. It was 1,000 here, 700 there, just incrementally. It rose to amount that the cities are all taking a foothold now, saying we're not going to pay for the bills anymore.
Well, I agree, but how do we keep it from happening in the future?
Say council pass a resolution.
It requires constant communication between the communities, looking at the various bills that they receive from these authorities.
If they're not telling us, that we know we're picking up,
Right.
they're not itemizing.
They don't
And I
itemize.
can't answer that right now without having one of the bills in front of me.
Through the chair.
Folks, yes, there we go.
Chair. Also, how do we find out exactly how much we have paid?
That number actually has been put together, and we can work to confirm it. It was put together, and I think it actually came from GLWA.
So, further discussion?
Yeah, through the chair, this is for Ed. Ed, I know it's been a long night, but, you know,
Not yet.
not yet.
5 minutes.
How do they get, Ed, how do they get away with arbitrarily assigning a debt to a city when it's not their debt? I mean, you're the legal expert. How does that, it's like me giving you a debt for my shoes, and you don't even own the shoes.
Well, the way that they reported it, I'm just not
No, I'm not
talking
going to
for
answer because
Ed.
I'm not part, I don't go to the
Well,
meetings, so.
it's like they pay for electricity, they pay for gas or any of the other utility or things that they have. It's just another cost, and that cost is passed on to the other communities. That's all, even the bad debt, but go ahead.
Someone once equated this recently to when you rent a car and you find out you're paying a general charge for uninsured motorists when you rent the car out in California, some other state. It's a hidden cost, passed along, no one noticed it, and it wasn't until they did that they realized something was wrong here. So, Councilman, perhaps the Great Lakes Water Association in the future will have better monitoring. This might be the wake-up call that council will do by the resolution joining in with the rest of the Downriver Community Conference here. I understand that the bill came through and it's one of those hidden charges.
Through the chair to the city manager, I suggest then somebody talk to GLW, because we've discussed other issues about the overflow charges and everything else going on here, and they keep telling us they got 5 years to get back with it and all that. I don't think we can trust either one of the organizations, unfortunately. I mean, if somebody's taking money out of my pocket and not telling me, I'm sure not going to keep talking with them or give them the benefit of the doubt. And like Ed says, if we got to scrutinize everything that comes through here, why do I mean, obviously we got to do business with them, but I wouldn't trust them. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, you know, they already did it, not over one, but all of us, and somebody caught it. Some smart person, I'm sure, looked at it and said, like, Ed, what am I paying? You know, what's going on here? But the board should have known something was wrong, because they have attorneys and they have economic people and they have engineers and all that, and they have the people to look at it. Why didn't they catch it? I mean, they should have caught it and stopped it right away.
Now, what board are you referring to?
I'm
The
board,
GLWA board?
yeah, the one that you go as our rep, and
But
yeah.
this is totally separate from DUA.
This is totally separate
Yeah.
from there?
This is completely separate.
All right, so it's just
GLWA.
itself, okay, so we don't have anybody that, okay. Well, that's
Wayne
interesting.
County representative on the authority board.
Maybe we should fire him or her. Thank you, I'm all done.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Mayor Cox.
All right. Next item has a cover letter from Chief of Police Raymond Waters. Lincoln Park Police Department is requesting to change the fees at the animal shelter. We'd request to change the dog surrender fee from $160 to $200, and the quarantine fee from $120 to $300. The previous fees were made in January of 2019 prior to the shelter opening. The change in fees will allow the shelter to operate more efficiently. Go just in general information, the current fees, are owner pickups, first time, $30 base fee plus $10 daily lodging. After the first time the animal is loose, the base fee goes up to $25 in increments, $25 increments. Adoption is $85 for non-sterilized females and males, $50 for sterilized females and males, $35 sterilization refund given after proof of spay or neutered, 10-day quarantine, $300, owner surrender, $200, but if approved, must be a Lincoln Park resident with proper ID. The dog must have a current license. The dog must be up to date on vaccines along with a rabies vaccine within the last 3 years. The dog must be spayed or neutered. Staff must meet the dog and determine if they are considered adoptable. For euthanasia, it's $100 for a resident and $175 for a non-resident animal. Residence animal. So the resolution be it resolved, the mayor and council does hereby adopt the following amended user fees related to the operation of the Lincoln Park Animal Shelter. Owner surrender, $200. Owner surrender animals are only taken from residents of Lincoln Park. A proper ID will be required as well as that animal's current city license. Quarantine fee, $300. These are for bite holes, transfers, etc. All other fees remain the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
My concern is the owner surrenders going up to $200, and I understand that we need to cover costs, but my concern is we're going to have more dumped dogs. If we're too strict on the dogs that we're taking, or we, we raise the price too high, unfortunately, people will just leave them on the street. That's my concern. Excuse me.
Okay. Further discussion?
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
The quarantine fee at $300, will it always be $300? Is it always quarantine of, is it 10 days, no matter what?
The 10 days is for like a dog bite,
Okay.
when we quarantine them for that. And then we're taking, there's a lot of care that goes into those dogs, so that's why the fees went up for that.
Well, what if it's a transfer, chief?
A transfer,
You got on here, bite holds, transfers, et cetera.
so that'd be like a bite hold, yeah.
It's still, okay. So it would never be less than 300 and never be more than 300?
It would never be more. Well, unless they left it, then it would be ours and we would find other places for it. But yeah.
Okay.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes,
Unless you
go
want to comment. Chief Waters, Councilperson Dupre brings up a good point. On the owner surrenders, do we witness a lot of those? And if we amended it to like $100 for a surrender fee, would that affect what you're looking for here?
Yeah, so our surrender fee, you don't want the surrender fee to be that much less than what it is the adoption part. So we just tried to be, like, these fees came up in January when we first opened up, and it would, we try to be more like some of the other communities, and it's similar to what they are.
Because I do see her concern. Do I pay $200 or I just leave the dog on the street? I mean, that could happen. I'm sensitive to that because I am a dog owner myself, so. What's the current surrender price now?
160.
Yeah, 160.
160. So that's my concern, that's all. Thank you.
Well, when you have a dog that is surrendered and brought in, you have to make sure that they're okay for it to be adoptable and then go through the process. And it could be 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe looking for somebody to take the dog or a shelter that will take the dog. Not a shelter, but
Another rescue.
a rescue.
Correct.
Take it. And you meant before that the average stay was,
Between 2 to 3 weeks to a month-ish, depending on the dog. Some of the smaller dogs go a lot faster than the pit bulls, which we get a majority of pit bulls.
okay, thanks. So further discussion?
Yeah, through the chair, if I may. There is a concern, but I thought most of the dogs that we picked up were like wandering the streets. I don't, is that true or not? Most of the 20, we got 20-some dogs, or was there a lot of surrenders? I guess that my question is.
We don't get a ton of them, no.
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 Do you have a lot more that wander the street and nobody claims them?
50/50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, if somebody wants to dump a dog, they're going to dump it. They could be any place else.
They're going to do it no matter what, yeah.
Right, that's what I was trying to say, and that dog doesn't know any boundaries. If it's in another city, he or she is just going to come over, and then we're going to get a call, and we take care of it.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Chief. Thank you.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Dupre?
No.
Vote on that?
No. Did I? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. No.
Ross?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Resolved that the mayor and council hereby authorize use of Youth Center Park for the Spring Fling Carnival event sponsored by the city of Lincoln Park. Carnival event will be held May 19 to 22nd of 2022, Thursday and Friday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Youth Center Park, Dixon Gregory. Be resolved that the cost recovery fees for the event shall be submitted by the departments after the event and shall be paid from the profits of this event. Also, be it resolved that the Elliott Amusement LLC is requesting 2 hydrant meters for water use and shall provide a $5,000 deposit for each meter. Deposit to be refunded minus water usage after equipment is returned. Be it further resolved that the event shall comply with ordinance 666.04A2 noise.
So moved.
I'll support.
Okay, discussion?
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I noticed on the cost recovery for the DPS, it has to be determined. Historically, does the DPS normally charge a fee to clean up after an event from the city? Well, it says to be determined, so I'm wondering what that means.
At the time that was put together, we weren't exactly sure, because at that time I didn't have, I'm going to say, all of the information. So I wanted to get it in before the mayor and council. But to go back to your base question, yes, if the DPS has to provide traffic control, temporary trash cans, pick those up, a water meter or anything like that, or sometimes when they do something over there in the park, we do put what I want to call a perimeter orange fence to keep people out of the parks. But yes, we do provide stuff like that.
Have you come up with a cost then for this particular event?
No, I have not.
Thank you.
Chair.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
So for the Spring Fling Carnival that we've done twice, DPS has never had a recovery fee, cost fee. The carnival itself is self-contained. They put their own fencing up. They hire their own security. I don't know, they take care of their own garbage. The whole thing is self-contained. There's never been an involvement with DPS or any other agency in the city with them, other than the $5,000 deposit on the water. I just wanted to make that known.
Okay, further discussion?
Yeah, a question, I guess. Last year, didn't we do something in the parking lot because of COVID and all that? We didn't have anything going on, so now we're going to have the full carnival and all that stuff like we do at Lincoln Park Days, right? Similar? Okay, all right then. All right. Thank you. That's all I just wanted to...
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Dupre?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Next item, resolved that special event permit number 2 be approved for the Downtown Development Authority's Cinco de Mayo event to be held in the City of Lincoln Park on April 30, 2022, from 12 p.m. till 7 p.m. on O'Connor Avenue between 4th Street and Electric Avenue under the following conditions. 1, special event to cease at 11 p.m. per Municipal Code 666.04. 2, applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with the event from surrounding properties. Be it further resolved that O'Connor Avenue between 4th Street and Electric Avenue be closed to vehicular traffic from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, discussion?
Through the chair, I'd like to ask, why are we charging the DDA for this event if the DDA is an arm of the city? So why do we charge another arm of the city for an event?
Yeah, they're technically separate entities, separate funding sources.
Through the chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I submitted this event permit, or, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. You got it back at 4 o'clock on Thursday, or actually during the DDA meeting, at the cost of $2,300. I called John Kazoo and I asked him why. In the past, they've provided cleanup to the area, which they aren't doing this year because Commercial Grounds has generously offered to do it for no charge. And then he told me $600. And then today I got the email, now it's $1,500. The extra cost of this to the event itself is going to put the budget through the roof. I mean, we're looking at another $1,500 to put the event on. I just can't explain that the timing of what the cost is, and to put an event on through the Downtown Development Authority for the people that can park in the downtown and have to pay this fee is just unreasonable to me, that we would have to pay this much to actually give something to our residents that they enjoy, that also is involving a big percentage of our population that is looking forward to this event. It's a celebration. And I just think that if we're looking at the other event permits, like the one that's coming up next, and we can waive the cost for that event, then I think that we should be able to waive the cost for this event, so we can at least break even and not be in debt to give something from a city entity to the city. And that's my opinion, and I would like to see this amended, just reflect that we waive the cost for this.
Okay, well, if it's good with the mover and supporter, I don't remember who the mover and supporter was.
I don't either.
Councilman Kelsey was the mover and Councilwoman Dupre was the support.
I don't care if you want to amend it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, then if they're both good with it, then the motion would now reflect that there will be no cost recovery. Would that be accurate?
We're going to waive the fees for the cost recovery.
Waive the cost for, okay. So further discussion?
Yeah, question through the chair. I support the amendment, but I got a question. The DDA is definitely separate. They recapture all the, matter of fact, they just expanded their zone where they collected more money from the businesses and stuff like that. Am I correct, city manager?
Right.
Okay, and then when they elect their, no?
No, that's not.
We didn't expand the boundary.
You didn't expand the boundary?
We added 3 parcels to the development area.
Oh, right. They were already part of the jurisdiction.
Okay, but the city doesn't have anything to do with the DDA, am I correct? We okay their budget.
Right.
We don't elect their DDA director. We appoint the commissioners. We don't take money out of their budget. We don't, and what I'm trying to say is DDA is separate by state law. Ed, you over there?
Yes?
DDA, isn't it a separate identity created by the state?
It's a separate public body corporate, and the
Yeah.
council cannot dictate their decisions. You make the appointments, and
Right.
they make the financial decisions.
Right, that's what I was asking, okay. I'm just saying, so they're a little bit different because of that, I mean, and we've had this discussion before, so I guess the question is, do we make precedent, or how do we do this? Because DDA puts on all kinds of events during the year. They put the bands down in the downtown area, Cinco de Mayo, they put the Christmas chocolate thing on, they put the lights on, I mean, I just want a clear understanding which way the city's position's gonna be, that's all. That's why I support the amendment, so we know where we're going.
Similar to this, we're having road closures. We allow barricades to be brought for any community or any block that has a block party.
That's true.
We don't charge the citizens for a block party for this. So this is just, what is requesting is that get the same thing as any other, I guess, resident would get. Going through, there's paint that's going to be done in that area to cover up graffiti and such, and cleanups of boxes and things that have been in disrepair for, I'd say decades, and just overall cleanup. I mean, there's a lot of work that's going here that the DDA is accepting the cost for, and an event that is proven to be something that has been great for Lincoln Park for the 6 or 7 years that we've had it. So I'm not saying, $2,300 is unreasonable in my mind. $1,500 is unreasonable. Because the only thing that you're talking about is dropping barricades off to block the roadway, essentially.
Yeah, that and garbage cans, and then just get them picked up, and I've said that we would handle the garbage at the end of the day, clean up the area. It's going to look so much better before we start, and we'll make sure it looks the same way afterwards. It's just a tough thing to have to cover that cost on top of what we're doing with the expenses, especially in a short period of
I
time.
guess the media is looking for the city to be a partner in the event,
That would be wonderful.
like a co-sponsor in that, like they are partially through Lincoln Park Days or for the other events that are through, or like for the parade and different things of that nature.
Well, I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
Through the chair, we just recently did the parade for years. The Lincoln Park the city didn't want no part of it, if I'm correct in my understanding. And they have spent...
That's not correct.
Okay, then I'm wrong. I'm wasn't aware that we supplied them money or waived the fees. I'm sorry if I am. My other question is we've had Cinco de Mayo and other events for years, so my question still stands, are we going to amend the cost for all the other events, because the DDA is going to have them? I mean, it's not like it's not going to happen. That was my question. And I don't know, the amendment will answer that, or will it answer this one? And I'm not disagreeing with anybody what they said about the DDA and so on. They get $300,000 too in their budget. I don't think anybody else gets that money. And I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying they're a separate entity, and they have their money, and we don't tell them how to spend their money. I mean, matter of fact, we supply a service of doing the parking lots, the city parking lots.
No.
Correct?
They're charged $40,000. The city charges $40,000.
Well, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. You're correct, Your Honor. Yes, but the DDA came to the city because the other company was charging too much. That was my point. So the city partnered with them for a price. I just want to have all the clear facts when we vote, that's all. And that was my only question. Are we going to make this a policy for the rest of the events? Because they're going to come out. I don't have a problem with it. And if they're only supplying the barricades and the garbage cans, I don't disagree. It shouldn't be whatever the heck it is. But did they ever put, I thought they put bleachers down there.
Well, the bleachers have, through the chair,
Yeah.
the bleachers are still in Memorial Park. They haven't been moved.
Okay.
From last year. We haven't asked for that because I'm not sure what the condition they're in.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if they should be moved after sitting there all year. Along with, it would be nice to have some picnic tables over there too, by the food trucks for people to sit down in. But again, I'm being conscious because I know what we have to spend and where we're at right now and how much time we have to try to raise the rest of the funds if we have to pay. So I've spoken with Carl, and we just, we're going to do what we can do, but we can't do much more, especially at this point on the 18th and the events on the 30th, to recoup costs.
Through the chair, I guess I don't have my only concern is we do one, like you brought up, we do one, we do for all. That was my only concern. And I guess that's why I'm asking the city mayor, whoever, the attorney, or somebody, we're going to vote anyways, but the bottom line is that my feeling is if I do for one, I do for all. That way I don't pick and choose. Because everybody does something for the city. I don't care who you are. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Okay, further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay. Okay, I think I missed something here. Oops. Carl, can you grab it for me?
Let's move this one down.
Yes. Velcro.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got that. Have a second of
Memorial Day parade.
Yeah. I don't have it. Or I put it aside. All right. We don't have... Okay, so whereas the mayor and council believe the Memorial Day Parade to be an important event for the city of Lincoln Park and its residents, honoring the sacrifices made by many current and former residents of the city of Lincoln Park. Whereas the mayor and council wish to reduce the financial burden to the VFW Post 552 Parade Committee as they work to stage the 2022 Memorial Day Parade and allow money raised for the parade to be reinvested back to the parade. Therefore, be it resolved that Mayor and Council hereby waives the special event application fee for the 2022 Memorial Day Parade. And be it also resolved that Mayor and Council will not require the VFW Post 552 Parade Committee to pay cost recovery for those items listed in Section 878.06E. Be it further resolved, the special event number 3 for the VFW John Dingell Memorial Day Parade event to be held in the city of Lincoln Park on May 22nd, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. along the northbound lanes of 4th Street from Southfield to Pagel, under the following following conditions. One, special event to cease by 11 p.m. per municipal code 666.04. 2, applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with events from surrounding properties.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
Through the chair, I have a question. It says Southfield to Pagel. Does it go down that far?
Yes.
Oh, I never realized that. Okay.
Well, it comes down the street before Pagel, but they close it up to Pagel
Oh, they
for
close,
safety.
okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
It's on Merrill. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Dupre?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Now we come to the resolutions that were removed from the consent agenda. cover letter from John Kazoo, DPS Director. In background, the DPS will be opening the front lobby of the DPS building to the public. The front entrance door needs to be replaced and security glass installed in the existing front counter. In the request for proposal, it's City of Lincoln Park is accepting bids for installation of new commercial exterior door and security glass on the existing counter for the DPS lobby in the City of Lincoln Park. Bid shall be submitted in the form, okay. No, that doesn't help at all. Be resolved that Mayor and City Council of the City of Lincoln Park authorize the city to solicit bids for the DPS main lobby entrance door and security glass for the front counter.
I'll move.
Support.
Okay, discussion?
Through the chair? My question, and absolutely, it's great to see this door being fixed. And I'm worried about security, because once you're in that lobby, it's nice if we're going to have the security glass for the counter. The door that goes back right into where the secretary is, it's a very flimsy door, and I'm thinking that second door needs to be replaced too with a stronger door, and that's what I'm asking about.
Okay.
This would be the door from the lobby into where the secretary sits.
John, how is that secured currently?
If somebody really wanted to get in, there are 3 doors. One is an exterior entry door. There's 2 others going into the clerical area and one going into mine. They're only secure as to a hasp on a doorknob. They're not solid doors, they're hollow doors. Can people get through? Yes, they could.
I do know that people show up at DPS who are upset at times, and I'm just wanting to take care of our people, make sure it's secure, make sure that, we don't have to worry about that situation. And since we're going for right now to take care of this situation, maybe it's time to look at that too. Maybe put that into the bid. Maybe we decide not to do it right now, but I think if we, takes time to look at it.
Because wouldn't a deadbolt solve the same purpose that currently, until the door could be replaced?
I think I would ask that of maybe Hennessy's Ray Parker. Personally, I don't think that a hollow door is that secure. If somebody wants to get through it, yes, I believe that they could, because I think that I could if I had to.
I was looking at that door the other day, and
the unfortunate part is I believe it does have to be secure, because when either one of my supervisors are either out with one of the crews, water, sewer, road crew, or out looking at something for a citizen, and I'm maybe off or out at a meeting, that leaves one clerical there. And as Councilman Higgins already said, I just don't think it.
How are communications with the citizens that come to the DPS currently done?
Traditionally, typically, they have to honk or call to get entranceway through our gate, and we have to go out to what I want to call the dispatch area to open up the gate to let them in, and then they do come into the offices. Prior to that, we did have a part-time person who sat in what I, again, want to refer to as a dispatch office, because that same person, if a citizen wants to come in and dump something into one of our dumpsters, there's product we do not accept. And we do require that whomever, whether it be a light duty person or a part-time person, that they go out and look at what that homeowner wants to bring into our dumpster, because certain items were not allowed. So that would...
They're face-to-face, though,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
With nothing in between.
Correct.
I'm not saying that there's not going to be a problem, but we have a locked door where it is right now, and probably in the future, make something secure, or have Hennessy come take a look at that and see if there are things to strengthen that. Maybe a better door in place, if it wasn't a hollow door, right?
And that would be 2 doors, yes, sir. We could do that.
Okay, but have them look at it, I think, for the potential, or they could recommend that there is no problem whatsoever with it, too.
I would go on their recommendation.
Okay, so, City Manager, if you'd have Hennessy take a look into that,
Through the chair, if I may, while John's still at the podium. If you're done.
Councilman, are you done?
Sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Mike. I didn't. The person who's going to man this lobby we're going to create, or it's there, but we're going to recreate it, she only works 35 hours, right?
Correct.
Who's going to cover the other 5 hours in the lobby? I mean, it's going to be secure, people are going to come in, they're not going the other way, and it's going to be secure, and they come in. Who's going to talk to them? Who's going to interact with them?
That in and of itself is part of the problem. In the clericals, when she is at lunch for an hour per day, either we would have to lock it, or I'd have to make sure either myself or one of the supervisors are there for anybody that may come in.
Okay. That would be the same thing when she's gone for the other 5 hours, am I correct?
Yes, sir. Vacation time, sick time, personal time, yes, same thing.
The other questions I got is, the buzzer is up front in the dispatch office, am I correct, to open up the gate?
Correct.
And if I'm not mistaken, the safe is up front in the dispatch office, am I correct?
Correct.
And if when somebody pays something, she has to go in that dispatch office, in that safe, to put that money in there, however, am I correct?
Yes, this
Well, I'm just trying to look where we're going with, if I'm going to spend a lot of money, I want to make sure the reasons we're spending is going to work. And that's why I'm asking these questions, because the process, I understand, is so Penny can do the work more efficiently in the area there. And my concern is everything, there's no camera in her office to see who's coming through the gate. The buzzer is still going to be, it's not part of this project, it's still going to be up in the front. The safe is going to be up in the dispatch office. And if she has to physically look at something, she has to leave her station desk, whatever, and she does that now, to go to the yard to make sure that nobody's dumping asbestos tiles or asbestos shingles in there or anything. We don't take tires or whatever, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
This
So,
process is just a bidding
I
of the
understand,
doors
I
and
just,
the
yeah, I
glass,
understand that.
nothing
but
else.
My problem is, when I bid, should be bidding those items in there. Should be bidding the buzzer to be transferred to her office. I should be bidding a camera so she can see who's at the gate, and transferring the money so when somebody comes in, they go right back to her office, where you're usually stationed at, or somebody is.
Correct.
Otherwise, this is like double duty. I don't understand that, you know? I mean, you're going to service the customer, but half the time, if the customers come you're not going to be out there in the lobby, because you're going to be at the other end, or where the gate's at. That's why I'm asking the questions, because if I'm bidding this out, I want to know where the rest of the material's at for this, to make this work. I mean, I agree that the safety issue sounds pretty good, and I agree the fact that, like the mayor said, the doors can be fixed and all that. I'm looking at the fact that we're going to take care of the customer. How's that going to work?
Those items are yet to be determined.
Yeah, but we're bidding this. You see where I'm going with this?
Well, let me,
I mean, that's just me. I'm just kind of a guy that just thinks a little ahead of the box, I guess.
I'm not sure if I want to get into that right here.
No, that was just me. I'm just asking just about thank you. That's all I want to know.
Further discussion?
Through the chair? I wanted to ask John something. I'm sorry, John. Get your exercise. So, it's my understanding, I understand everything you want to do with the front lobby and everything else, but it's my understanding that the DPS staff and the staff that's going to be in the front office would be much more comfortable with someone being on the other side of the building where they can let people in and out, where they're not going to be left in the office by themselves without the security that Mike is talking about. That things worked better when they had that second person there and things were run and people were watching that gate, because you can't be in front and you can't be at back at the same time. And if we're going to put that door in and use that lobby, we're still going to have to be going to that back side of the building. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Kelsey,
No?
Dupre,
Yes.
Yes.
Higgins, Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
No.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, next item is resolved that the following commissioners serving on various boards and commissions be and are hereby reappointed. Annette DiMaggio, Community Improvement Commission, term expires 5/1/25. Candy Plow, Community Improvement Commission, term expires 5/1/25. Stephen Leader, Dangerous Building Board, term expires 5/1/25. Elias Moritas, Downtown Development Authority, term expires 4/1/26. Victoria McLean, Downtown Development Authority, term expires 4/1/26. Daniel Wright, Downtown Development Authority, term expires 4/1/26. Leslie Lynch Wilson, Downtown Development Authority, term expires 4/1/25. Merritt Solomon, Historical Commission, term expires 5/1/26, or 5/2026. Kathy Carter, Historical Commission, term expires 5/1/2026. Maureen Harney, Library Board of Directors, term expires 5/1/25. Charmaine Clancy, Library Board of Directors, term expires 5/1/25. Jason Burr, Parks and Recreation Commission, term expires 5/1/25. Constance Adamczewski, Parks and Recreation Commission, term expires 5/1/25. Charles Persinger, Planning Commission, term expires 5/1/25. Rosalino Laduca, Planning Commission, term expires 5/1/25. And Joseph Totcher, Zoning Board of Appeals, term expires 5/1/25.
So moved.
Support.
Through the chair.
Discussion?
This is a very simple question. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all these people who have helped and been on the commissions for so long and done a great job, and thank you for all that they've done. I want to make sure, because of the way we have so many commissions who are members who are not currently showing up, I want to make sure all these members have been asked if they want to come back, and that's really what my question was.
Yes.
Okay.
To my knowledge, they have.
Yes, they were. They were all contacted.
Okay, that's all I wanted to ask.
Further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Tobin,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. A good point was made. The commissioners, we all owe them a debt of gratitude.
Yep.
Or maybe even ID cards. Resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. Actron Security Camera System for the Police Department, $31,374.39. Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority, February 2022 sewage user fee and April 2022 excess flow, $250,002.54. DTE, which has been paid to release on the due date. March 2022 street and traffic lights, maintenance and gas and electric, $92,512.75. GFL, April residential curbside and recycling, $203,724.01. Great Lakes Water Authority, February 2022 billing for water, $204,504.78. McKenna Associates, March 2022 building department services / permits, $63,562.47.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
Question on we just had the discussion about Great Lakes Authority. How do I know that I can approve that number that's correct? I mean, just, I go through the payables, and you're aware of that every time, and I just see a lump sum. And now that we had the prior discussion, my question is, in my good conscience, can I approve that? Or not, I guess. I don't know if Ed's there. Oh, Ed. Ed, what do you think about that?
I'm going to inquire with the managers. Does that include a separation of the small amount that the city's paying towards the Highland Park bill or not?
It probably doesn't, as that resolution would have been tonight, prior to this.
Council could make a political decision. Now, if you want to withhold the small amount as a minor protest,
I will do
as opposed to
that.
burning a draft card, it's like burning a library card. But this would be sufficient to get the point across. Mr. Curzan can remanage the check. I propose that you do that. It's up to council. It's your political decision.
I'm going to make a amendment that we don't accept the Great Lakes Water Authority figure as presented.
Send the corrected figure, would that work? Are they
Yeah,
going
we
to shut
can
off
do
our
that.
water if we do that?
We have at Highland Park.
Make too much.
We'll go to Highland Park, we'll get
Folks, this isn't a joke here.
No, it isn't.
So we don't know what the
Yeah, we could
amount.
bring it back.
Bring it back.
All right, so table that one to the next, or what was the proper,
Term would be to withdraw this from the list of approvals and place it on the next council agenda with the corrected figures.
No, I'll withdraw my amendment and make the motion to do what Ed just talked about. It still needs a second, right, Ed? Yes.
I'll support it.
that.
Okay.
okay, so we'll need a vote on the amendment then.
Are we,
Just this one check.
just this one
Just
check?
this one
We're
check.
withholding the Great Lakes Water Authority check?
Okay, so call the roll on the amendment?
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. So then, we'll, further discussion on the resolution? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. We've reached the point for city manager's report. Mr. Kazan?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Sorry, I was writing down a note to myself about that. All right, just a few things, because we're getting kind of later into the evening here. We still have a pretty important departmental report. But just a quick update, collective bargaining still seems to be moving along, still progressing. I think we're hopeful to have some stuff sewn up. I know I feel like I keep saying this, but I think in the next week here, we should sew a few things up and be really moving forward, which is good considering we're still in April and these contracts expire at the end of June. So we've got some good progress. We've been working really well with the different units. Exciting, we've got a interview scheduled coming up for the CDBG coordinator position. So hopefully that moves forward and things are excellent there. We are in receipt, I know I sent you guys an email about this, we are in receipt of a draft administrative consent order dealing with the issues within our sewer system surrounding the sanitary sewer overflows over the last, probably 13 years. And so we are reviewing that. We still have some time to get our response back to Eagle, but we're working through that. A couple quick reminders for you guys. Goal setting session tomorrow night, 5:30 over at community policing. And then the budget study session is going to be here next Monday. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
The chair? When you said the CBDG coordinator position, you have an interview coming in?
Yeah.
Is that the city planner you wanted to take that position?
Nope, that's the department head level position that would handle the day-to-day CDBG stuff. We haven't yet done postings for a planner or anything yet.
So we're going to be doing a coordinator and a planner?
Yes.
And the assistant that's already in the CBDG office also?
Yeah.
So there's, okay.
Well, the planner isn't only CDBG.
Right, I understand.
Right, that's, yeah.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I wanted to note that I was at Braverman Park today, and there's no sign left. And it's a sign that, it's a park that's very well kept and very well done. It's a Fresno sign. And some of the residents were asking about that. And also, I'd like to, I have gotten a lot of complaints about the underpass on 75 and on 4th Street, I'm sorry, on Dix. Shopping carts, trash, it's just really bad, and I know that's got to be MDOT's responsibility.
I believe it's actually county, and I know John has already reached out to the county.
Okay.
I don't think he's received a response yet, but...
Because it's really nasty right now.
Could you pass this to council?
Through the chair?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
James, we had a company come in with what I will call sewer insurance, and I touched base with you a while back, and we were going back and forth with them a little bit before we brought that out to the citizens, and I wondered where we're at with that.
Yeah, I just actually today received the newest draft of the literature from Service Line Warranties of America. So hopefully pretty soon that'll come together. I didn't get a chance to review today.
And a question that I think, what is the plan for the streets that aren't being redone this year? The ones that have a ton of potholes, and how do we make them drivable until we're able to get to them?
It's kind of a mix of fixes with pothole patching. Some of them we can, as the weather gets a little nicer, start using the hot mix, the asphalt recycling machine we have. But some of them, it's just trying to get them. Some of them are too far gone. That I've got a couple in the back of my head right now that I can think of that are just too far gone. That even doing a quick overlay, we're going to be in the same boat in about 3 years with them. So it's better to, you make the money go a little further by doing those as full-on reconstructs when you can, as opposed to doing some of the preventative maintenance, because preventative maintenance is gone on them, right?
So we need to make it trend, we need to make it so that people can...
Right, no, and I agree, and that's why I say the mix of fixes of the, remember, pothole patching, using the hot mix, none of that is preventative.
Right.
That's just going to keep it travelable. But that is not going to stop the deterioration of the road. It's going to be in the same boat 3, 4, 5 months down the road.
Because some are really bad now.
Right, exactly.
So we don't have a plan.
We continue to patch potholes as we can.
Okay.
I mean, that for some of those.
Okay.
And I'm looking at Jim and John, see if they've got a better answer, but...
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
James, if I could touch on, we're not using the machine for filling potholes right now? Is that weather, or is there another reason why we're not using
Yeah,
it?
go ahead, John.
Right, you hit that right.
I remember when we bought it.
The recycling machine hasn't been used for approximately 2 years because of staffing levels. We've also got a spray patching machine that we haven't used for approximately 3 years because of staffing levels. Each one, we just don't have the staffing to utilize them. And I don't know if you recall, when the staffing evaluation was done, there was, I don't remember if it was a line item or if it was a short paragraph that said, equipment not being used, if you're not going to use it, maybe you're best to sell it off. We're at that point on 2 pieces of equipment. We just don't have the staffing to utilize them.
Well, we're talking millions of dollars here. And
Yes, sir.
how often were they used?
No,
If at
there
all.
was not millions of dollars, but when we had the staffing, we did use a recycling machine for approximately 2 years. The spray patcher, we use approximately 4 years. We even went out and bought a 1,000-gallon tank that we installed so that we could take deliveries of emulsion for that spray patching machine. And now we don't have the staffing to utilize either one of those.
Exactly what is the staffing required to operate these devices?
All right, let me give you an example on the spray patch machine. That's usually 4 people. And right now, to do coal patching, signs, anything else out there, we don't have the 4 people to dedicate to that particular spray patching machine. Right now, I don't even have a vehicle set up to tow it.
But if you chose to, you could put 4 people on that tomorrow if you had a vehicle to tow it.
Well, if we chose to do that, yes, we would just have to push something else aside.
Okay, well, I mean,
Right now, we don't,
the roads are a priority. We're hearing complaints on a daily basis that they're not, that they can't be traveled upon. We have 2 devices that we paid, not millions, at least hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this, and we haven't had them out in 2.5 years.
that is correct. All of these items have been discussed with the city manager. We still have a disagreement on staffing. I don't know if anybody, the
There
mayor...
hasn't been a day in 2.5 years where you could put 4 people together to get this machine out there and working on it.
Well, let me put it this way, for the patching machine, you cannot use it in the winter because we cannot acquire the emulsion material during cold months. They simply don't produce it. During the summer, if we're going to use that machine, we have to buy 1,000 gallons of emulsion. And price of emulsion has gone up, but then we have to be able to utilize it pretty much on a daily basis. Because if we retain any of that emulsion in that tank that we have at our yard, I don't know how you would get it out.
Thank you.
Through the chair, Your Honor, John.
Yes, sir.
Please stay there. So 2 questions, one this for the city manager, but since you're there, so I've been referring people to the pothole hotline, so that's not even in use?
No, the coal patch product is being utilized. As long as it isn't snowing like today or raining, we are out coal patching. But again, coal patch is a temporary process.
Gotcha, thank you. Mr. City Manager, my question to you is, in tomorrow's goals and objectives session, is that going to be televised?
I don't think we're going to televise it just because of the location. Trying to get everybody in this room out of the familiar setting intentionally, but it does have its drawbacks. It's not wired for.
Thank you. I have a
televising like
scheduling
this.
conflict, so if you can retain any information for me, I can. look it over.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
James, have we had any new hires?
We recently added a new hire in DPS. I think he started last week, Monday. We do have a few vacancies that just recently opened up that we're working to fill. We've had a few guys who have been on long-term leave that have recently returned. One of them was actually overseas for military leave. He was gone for, I think, just over a year, and he just returned today. So the staffing levels are improving as far as guys being off on long-term. Still have, I think, 2 guys out on that, and then I think 3 vacancies that have recently opened.
Have those been posted yet?
Yeah, they're posted.
Okay.
I think we had somebody come in to test, or is coming in to test for one of them already.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
The event coordinator, have we gotten anybody for that?
We have not.
It's my understanding that the DDA is offered to help with that position to maybe more hours to make it more a viable position. Can you tell me if anything has been done with that?
I haven't gotten anything officially. We've had some conversations about it, but I haven't had anything given to me officially that,
Yes, I do know the DDA voted to open conversation, so. That's all, Your Honor.
Anything further?
Yeah, through the chair, if I may, to the city manager. Are we going to replace the sign at Emmons going into Wyandotte? It's completely gone. It says, "Welcome to Lincoln Park." There ain't nothing there. The wooden sign that's...
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have described it better,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think the sign over here is missing also. It doesn't say...
Which sign over
Right
here?
over on the easement, or I call
At
it...
Fort Park?
Yeah, Fort
I
Park.
think that was just recently replaced.
Oh, was
yeah.
it? Okay,
that-
last time I seen it, it wasn't there, okay.
That one got knocked over in an accident about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
And John's guys were out there probably the middle part of next week. I haven't been down Emmons in a little bit.
But yeah, that's
I
fine.
will,
I just happened to go
That's been
down that
for
way,
some
that's...
time. And then that was an accident, too.
Was it?
Okay.
Okay. The other thing is that the group homes, you and me talked about that, I think, at the last meeting. I'm going to pass this to you. This is my last conversation with Bob from the assessor's office and John Myers and yourself. It's been almost a year since I discussed the issue of the group homes, and you said bring something up, if you're having a complaint. Well, my complaint was back a year ago when John's working on it, but I don't know where, it's still one of those things where we can't seem to correct it. And there's another one on there on Helen Street, okay? I just want to know if Ed's gone.
I'm right here.
I'm sorry, Ed.
I'm listening.
Well, if Ed could help out or something to go through the mess with the state, Laura? Yeah, Laura, and the thing, so we can move on some of this stuff, at least determine if these people are property there and if their property being cared for or whatever. I know there's some kind of conflict between Laura and us as far as who has responsibility.
Mayor and council, if you give me a copy of that correspondence, I'll follow through with both the clerk's office and I will examine to see if there's any licenses applied for. We'll contact Laura. We'll talk to Mr. Myers to find out. Most homes are run without impunity. They run pursuant to the statute. There may be somebody running something off the books here, so we'll find out. You have the addresses that are listed?
Yes, I do, Ed,
All right,
yes.
we'll follow through. Now that you give me something positive, we'll follow through. Thank you. I'll
you.
take it now.
Yep.
Oops, I'm sorry.
One of the other questions I have is Council Point Park. There's been some concern of the residents that been some kind of,
He snuck out.
for lack of a better word, inappropriate behavior over there by the bathrooms. Now, I know way back in, I think back in May of 2021, we talked about Gregory Park, where we had the homeless people, and then we agreed to give the police to go through there to check it out. I don't know if the chief is still here, if they've got Council Point Park, but it seems the bathrooms, we have some teenage kids that seem to be very fascinated with those bathrooms and doing other things they shouldn't be doing. And the residents across the street are seeing it, and they're posting it on Facebook about what they're doing. I'm not going to discuss it here. And I'm just wondering how we can, we're short 9 officers, so it's not like, but can we occasionally go over there maybe? It's one of those things where you catch them or don't catch them, but at least show
We can increase a little presence over
yeah,
there.
it's just been recently, I guess, that's been going on. They've had that issue. And I where did Ed go?
He's with Mr. Myers.
Oh. The question I was going to ask Ed is that when is it, and the mayor discussed this at the meeting just now, tonight, about the charter. We can't move the city meeting because of the charter. Are there any times, I was going to ask Ed, that we can move the meeting, or is that etched in stone where we can't move it at all, unless we make a charter amendment? And Ed would know that because Ed's the guru.
Right.
Could move location, but not the date.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted to know, because...
I'm talking to Mr. Myers. I'll be right up there. Answer on the other
Take your time, Ed, we know that you're busy.
I'll hold my comments, that's fine. Thank you for your response, I appreciate that.
Anything further?
Mayor, I have an up-to-date answer. Mr. Myers has issued citations to 4 of the 6 premises. There's 4 more than what you have.
Okay.
They're going to follow through with the other 2 to issue citations. He spoke with Laura. They are not licensed properly. and we'll address it in the court. There's also some ancillary civil litigation. Sorry I stepped away.
No, you answered my question.
Is there another
To the
question?
chair, thank you very much. I just wanted some conclusion to it.
Anything further for the city manager? Just the spool that is in the median across from Memorial Park. And our flags are looking worn, specifically at the Veterans Memorial. They're in bad shape, and the Fort and Southfield flags are tattered. I know we've had some heavy windstorms and such, but